here. This webinar is going to be recorded, so if you wish to not be recorded, your voice or camera, now is a good time to step out, and you can watch the presentation online after the fact. All right, we're going to go and get started. I'd like to introduce to you Chris Landis. He's our Guard Plus product manager, and he's going to be going through some new features that we are rolling into our Guard Plus product. And Chris, without further ado, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Brian. Welcome to our quarterly webinar specific to Guard Plus. I am the product manager for Guard Plus, and we have a few new features that we want to go through this session. First, a little bit about KAMIND. We are a managed partner. We work directly with Microsoft. We help we're a licensed reseller. This also includes GCC High. If you ever wanted to know anything about security or are concerned about it, we're definitely the team to help you improve your policy, your security policy, and get you on a better platform. Today, I want to talk about the new features, as we mentioned earlier. We've recently moved into the Gov environment, which is important for our clients that need to be, working with the federal government. You need to be in the Gov environment, and so do we. We've also added a new feature called Conditional Access Audit, risky users, and mail forwarding. And after that, we'll have a little time for a Q&A session. So what is Guard Plus? Guard Plus is a solution. It's a tool that we built. We built it about a year ago, and we've slowly been improving the features. It's available through the Microsoft or Azure marketplace. Its target customers are CTOs, CIOs, people who want to, view their security posture to see how they can improve it. It gives them a weekly IT security scores. It lists out the security events, but most importantly, it gives you very clear recommendations how to get yourself into a better position. It includes, it'll show you exactly where your security posture is. It's transparent. It gives you those planning steps. In some cases, it tells you really specifically what you need to do. It'll help you prioritize things. So if you're looking at a 1,000 things to fix, this tool will help you understand what's the most important one to focus on this week, and then the next week you can look at another one and slowly get your score to improve. It's cost effective. To use this, to try to do this manually, you'd be looking at almost one head count alone, just trying to generate the evidence and the reports and the recommendations. Last but not least, it is able to give you a documentation and audit control. So a lot of your insurance providers will need that, or if you're looking at some of the compliancy roadmaps like policies like CMMC, and CMMC needs to know that you are aware of it. This will give you that documentation and audit control that you need. So first of all, we've launched it into the Gov. We've been commercial for over a year now. Our applications work with various clients in the commercial world, and we've been doing that quite successfully. But we recognize that a lot of the clients are under pressure to move their environments from commercial to the Gov environment. And we won't be discussing that today. Matt Katzer, our CEO, will be able to discuss with you what the costs and needs of moving to the government environment. Probably you already know if you need to move to the Gov environment. But one of those requirements is that we also provide our service from a Gov perspective. It's more secure, it's more reliable there for Gov clients. And we just launched that about 4 weeks ago. Next one is conditional access auditing. So I'll I'll go back a little bit and explain what conditional access. It's a security policy enforcement solution available with your Azure AD Premium or your Microsoft 365 Business Premium subscription. What happens is, let's just say you have a policy that says we're only able to log users. Your users are only able to log in from, we're based in Portland, so we'll say that. If suddenly somebody logs in from California, well, we then have that's a condition that they're in Portland. If they're logging in from California, or in one case, we've seen a Greek user who clearly wasn't in Russia, the conditional access policy said no, even though the user ID and password was correct, he's logging in from Russia. It's a real case. He was denied access because the IP address was showing he was from Russia. You can, in cases where you know that somebody's going to Russia, allow that person, but then you might say there's additional. So you should by now already be using multi-factor authentication, but you might not need it at work. There could be some scenarios where you say, well, we don't need it at work. But here you could say, well, if he's going in from Russia, that he has to have an additional condition. So hence, it's basically an if this condition, then you do that. Else if another condition, in this case, they're logging in from Russia, then they have to have a different access, or you just deny them. That's a case for me. We're using the user was in Germany, but allowed because the cap was in place. So like I said, we're in Portland. I recently went off to Germany. The conditional access policy wasn't in place, so I was actually denied access to my work computers until I called back to the office and said, "Hey, would you mind triggering the conditional access policy to allow me?" So then it allowed me into Germany. With MFA, I was allowed to, so they trusted me. So what does Guard Plus do about all of this? Well, to be honest, and I'll show you in the demo, there's a lot of data going on. There's a lot of conflicting. You could have conflicting policies if you don't do it right. Guard Plus shows you all your policies in one page, and I'll show it to you in the demo shortly. It shows you all the policies in one view, and not just from top down, but you can look at regions, locations, groups, and users and see who's got what policy so you protect yourself better. It covers client applications, it covers risk levels, service principals, which platforms are included or excluded, and it'll show you when it was modified or created. Our next feature that we've added is a report on risky users. Microsoft does have an alert out there if somebody is deemed risky, and this could be somebody who's logged in one or more risky sign-ins. So that did happen when I went away. The sign-ins were multiple times from a location that our company didn't recognize. For a time, I was listed as a risky user until the policy was put in place, and they said it was okay. But you may not have that information. Guard Plus puts it out there, gives you a list of who the risky users are. It's a nice feature so that you're aware, so that you can change the behaviors of your users to help to talk with them. It just might help you work with your own SOC team to investigate and remediate issues and to prevent unauthorized access in the future. So here's a case, you've got one risky user. If they do 2 risky sign-ins, what do you do? You can configure out that, and Guard Plus will help you understand what you need to do in that case. Finally, our last one is mail forwarding. So you should be disabling the mail forwarding, but there might be cases where you say, well, the following emails need to be forwarded to this group or whatnot. You have a forwarding rule in there. But you as the manager of the company may not be aware of all the forwarding rules that are in place. And this becomes really an issue if an email contains personally identifiable information. This then puts your company at risk of breaching compliance policies, data loss, and standards like CMMC, GDPR, and HIPAA standards. So you would be in breach of those standards. Furthermore, private accounts, these are your work accounts, but they're your accounts, can be targeted by malicious attacks. So it could be that a hacker came in but didn't do anything on the first run. All they did was set up a forwarding rule, and that forwarding rule goes to their email address, where they begin to see all of your confidential emails. It could be invoices, it could be accounts receivables. And we had a case where we had to support a company where they were wiring money to a bank to handle their food processing. One of the users' emails got hacked and someone spoofed their email address, and emails were then forwarded onto a bad actor. It was a bit of a chaos on their side until we started, they called us, asked us to audit them. After auditing them, we found out that yes, indeed, they had been hacked. Nothing had been done to the environment, but their emails were being forwarded to a bad actor. This tool helps you take control and see each week. It does a report each week, and to see, which emails are being forwarded and not. So now I'm going to go over to the actual demo, and we'll start off with risky users. You can look at this, and we've got two test accounts in here. We can see Tinker Tailor here. We can see which part of is he a medium or not a risk. So he's defined as a medium risk. Actually, this particular user, the umbrella organization, is listed as a medium risk. Tinker Tailor is listed as not a risk. It was defined later, so it means that somebody actually did investigate it. So in this case, we're all okay. But it's good to see. I've seen reports where upwards to 15 users in one company has risky users. You can see that in this case, it's been remediated. Some of the so password reset, they saw it, it was remediated, it was all okay. This particular one, at risk, it's a medium, so then you're able to go into the environment and see what's up with that user and why are they at risk. Next, I'm going to go to the conditional access policy audit. So if I just zoom in here, normally all you see is this. You see the policy names, you see their states, and then that's basically the first pane that you see in Microsoft. What we've done is then add all the information that's the attributes of it. For example, is the conditional access policy just going for browser, mobile apps, desktop clients, or is everything included? What happens on the previous, we talked about risk levels. What kind of tolerance level for risk is allowed for this one? So we're saying for high and medium, this policy is going to come in place and reject them or deny them access. When was it created? And if it was ever modified, what was the last modified date? On the right column, it's just for control. We can see when was the last pull or data refresh. So we pull this every Sunday in this particular tenant, and every Sunday you'll get a refresh if the policies are updated. Like I said, normally you only see the first two columns, but what we've done, if I zoom back out, we give a full page. And it might seem a bit of an overload, but if I look at this particular user, that's Chris Cross. Chris Cross was in Germany. I think everybody knows who Chris Cross is. That's actually me. Chris Cross was in Germany. There was a policy that was set up. He was allowed to use these apps. We can even see when the policy was created, and it was modified a few days later. And this is the latest date it was pulled. Here we can see the location that it was worked on. So this is a different view than that Microsoft doesn't provide, that we do provide, is the view to drill from the top or the bottom or from the sides to see what policies are in place. I can zoom back down, and so since we already know that Chris Cross was in Germany, we can also see locations. So I might be curious to say, well, why are we allowing foreign access to Germany? And again, we can see that Chris Cross, which is me, was allowed access to Germany. This is not possible with Microsoft. We do give this feature for you so that you can study them and make certain that a policy is not conflicting with another one. There's a couple other ones that we have in here. This one is for access to Ireland, and that one is then the user is no longer in the group, so it's been excluded, but the policy is still there, so it's all okay. Last but not least is the mail forwarding. We discussed this. What we provide is the list of mail. So in this case, it's actually a very severe case. It looks like we have 40 different recipients or 40 different email rules going on. And then you can go through each one of them and figure out, what is going on in this particular environment. We can see who the recipients are, and keep in mind, this is just a dummy account, but we can actually see that there was an email rule set up, and that rule is going to the following people. Now, in real world, you may not know, you may not see an email like deadhack@hackersrus.org. But what you will know is for sure if it's a internal user email address or an external, and those are the kinds of things that you're looking for. We provide this in a nice little dashboard. You can see that in this case, an email was set up. Here's the recipient, and here's the person who sent it, and here's the date that it was logged. Normally, you would have to dig deep inside of your Exchange to look this up. We provide this. It's good to look at this on a weekly basis just to make certain that no new unauthorized mail forwardings are happening. All right, I will go back to the presentation. So you can access the Guard Plus tool through our portal and in Azure at the marketplace. Just look up the Guard Plus, or you can reach out to our sales team, and we'll be sending this out to you later on if you need. But it is sales@kamind.com. If you need any information on that, the pricings are all available there in the marketplace, or you can talk to one of our sales managers, and we'll get with you on that. So it's a fairly easy tool to install. We give a free 30-day trial for it, and we'd love to hear from you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. It's a great presentation. I really like to point out and highlight one of the features that I like about this is typically a SOC analyst or an IT support person is really going to have to dig through a lot of screens and a lot of different areas to collect this information, which is time consuming, especially when you're under pressure to make sure that somebody's not infiltrating your network. So that's probably one of the key things is pulling all the information together in one spot in a single pane of glass. That's great. We'd like to open it up to questions for anybody. If anybody has any questions you want to pose to the group here, you can go ahead and speak up.
So question number one was, why did we create the tool? I alluded to it. If you were to try and get all of the data out of Guard Plus on your own, you would need a full-time SOC person to capture all this information, to wrangle the data and to bring it together so you have a management decision. We saw that as our client base grew, it became more and more of a manual not more of a manual effort. It always was a manual effort. It took more time. So we developed the tool in-house for ourselves to help us audit our own clients, to provide that evidence to our clients that indeed we are doing the job that they hired us to. What we're offering is for clients to have this tool so that they can take it to their management or, study it in-house and, look at the recommendations, look at their posture, and make some strategic plans. This is not a real-time monitoring tool. This is a strategic tool to help you prioritize the changes you need to make in your environment as and when they happen.
Great points. All right. Any other questions from anyone? All right. Look, thank you guys for joining the webinar today. Please visit our website online at KAMIND.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Chris. Great job.
Thank you.
It's funny that Matt was in there posting questions.